Hey, Alex Mathers here, coming to you from a dark alleyway here in Tbilisi.
If I take you down, would you really hold me down and be your best friend? She just wanna hit me with a quickie by the pool and I'm like, yes.
Let's talk today about my illustration career and see if we can wean out some of the more useful points that I picked up as an illustrator. So I'm not doing so much illustration commissions nowadays, but I was working as a digital illustrator for the best part of over a decade. I'm 34 now and I started illustrating at 21. And I've worked with companies from Google to the BBC, Craft, Popular Mechanics magazine, Saatchi & Saatchi, and numerous others, Mars. So I learned a lot, picked up a lot of experience as a freelance illustrator, and wanted to chat very quickly about some of the key takeaways that I want to share with you guys, especially for those of you who are just starting out in illustration and you want to pick up some some handy tips without going through the hells and the ups and downs that I went through. So the first one is you are always going to be marketing yourself. It's a consistent thing, and it's something that so few illustrators that I came across, including myself, especially in the early days, did well. It was always a challenge to pluck up the courage and the motivation to get yourself out there. I think a lot of people shy away from the idea, let alone the actual process of getting your name out in front of other people who are willing and able to work for you, because you want to focus on the creative stuff, the fun stuff, and I get that, but you've got to be, if you want to really make a mark in illustration and you really want to make sure you don't suffer through the troughs and only have, you know, very sporadic moments of success, which is what you don't want. You want to have nice, consistent success with landing clients and getting jobs through, and this is something that many freelancers of all kinds suffer with. So of course this advice applies to a lot of you in various fields, but yes, you will have to commit to the idea that you need to be marketing yourself pretty consistently, especially those moments when you are doing well and you feel successful and you feel comfortable because you've got work coming in, you've got a client who's working with you. Those are the moments you need to be the most careful, because you allow yourself to get comfortable and you chill out on the need to market. You don't feel the same level of urgency to go out and get your name in front of people, but those are the times where you need to be upping your game and doing as much marketing as you can. So marketing doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be clever, complex sort of funnels and setups on the web. At the very basic level, marketing as an illustrator, like with so many other careers, is simply keeping in touch with people who could potentially work with you, making friendships, making relationships, and just being a bit of a busybody, which is something that so few of us want to do, but it's really key to get busy with networking in whatever way you can do. So get out there and talk to people at events, use email, use phone calls, use YouTube videos, just get your face in front of people and start developing one-to-one relationships. So I would put much more of an emphasis on making strong interpersonal one-to-one relationships rather than trying to spread yourself too thin and work really, really hard and put a lot of time and energy into trying to become famous with the masses. That's going to be much harder to do in terms of getting work than simply making relationships with potential clients, agents, anyone who knows other potential hirers of illustrators. You've got to get creative here. I can't give you all the answers, but stay marketing, keep it consistent, and market yourself. Get in front of people, especially when you feel comfortable.
Just my time. Oh yes, you know the deal, like an old script.
So the next big lesson I learned as an illustrator over the last decade, as it starts to rain on me here, the next big lesson I learned was that illustration, commercial illustration, I was working predominantly as a vector illustrator, making maps and funny little pictures of monkeys and stuff. Commercial illustration is a lot different to art, fine art. It's a different beast. And commercial illustration is a lot more attuned, a lot more in line with, when you get it right, with what is quite trendy. You have to be aware of what kinds of things potential clients, corporations, companies, the kinds of people who hire illustrators, you've got to be aware of what kinds of things they're drawn to. You've always got to put yourself in the shoes of your potential clients, and very often they are looking for a fairly safe route, and that's not to scare some of you guys away in thinking that illustration is about being safe, but there is a certain element of needing to be aware of what is fresh in the moment, what is trendy in the moment. You'll find that the illustrators who tend to do the best have styles that are innovative, but still they're not too experimental. Companies, for the most part, like to work with people that give them a good image. So they want to work with illustrators who create work that makes them feel like, yep, they're cool, but they're not pushing the boundaries too much. That's unlike most companies. So you'll have to think about your client as well. Some clients that will take you on might want to explore a bit and be a bit more experimental, and that's good, but for the most part you want to be aware of trends and aware of what is considered mainstream. And this is why you need to start by imitating people early on, imitating and copying. If you're just starting out as an illustrator, just copy the people that interest you, and just steal, as Austin Kleon talks about a lot, is just steal a lot from other people and then allow your own style to develop out of the cool trendy styles that you are drawn to initially. Be aware of the need to understand trends, and don't stick your nose up too much at the need to go fairly mainstream. You can obviously innovate in your own way. I think it's about bringing your own flavor to your own style. That's what people like, but just keep your eye and keep your pulse on the pulse. Keep your finger on the pulse of what is working, because that's the kind of thing that big companies like to see. The third thing that I picked up that was really useful that I want to share with you guys about my illustration career, this is to start committing to the idea that you're going to have to create a lot of illustrations.
She just wanna hit me with a quickie by the pool, and I'm like, yes, ma'am.
So you got to enjoy the process of making illustrations, which I'm sure most of you do. And if you're starting out as an illustrator, you've got to commit to a period of really intense work, maybe even more than later years. It'll allow you to grow your skills and find your style, which is absolutely key, because illustration, as I said, is all about finding a common thread that links all your individual pieces together, and that only can take the only way to find that is through a ton of work in the initial stages, and ideally have a way to get quick feedback on each of your individual pieces. And the good thing is we've got the internet to help us with that. But you've got to find either a mentor or people in some way who are going to give you honest advice about your stuff. I was really lucky in that when I first started out, I uploaded a ton of stuff to a stock photography website called iStock back in the early days of iStock, and I uploaded illustration after illustration after illustration, totaling hundreds and hundreds of individual pieces in an effort to try and make a bit of cash when I was younger. And it worked out very well because I got rejected a lot by the inspectors on the site. I got a lot of feedback and a lot of just no's. People telling me, no, that won't work commercially, no, that won't work commercially. And not only that, when I did have work accepted, I could see what stuff sold and what didn't. So a structure like a stock photography website could be really useful just in guiding your style, but also simply just to get your work out there and have it critiqued by as many other people as possible, as well as people who are in the industry. I mean, talk to as many people as you can and get as much feedback on your style as you can. But inevitably, the real indicator of how well you're doing and how well your style is working is just trying to get clients. You know, never wait for getting clients, and work with anyone, as you know, anyone and everyone, as when you're first starting out. Just get a sense of the experience of working with potential people and see what works and what doesn't, and follow what is working. Okay, so think about that. But really the driving force behind doing well in especially the early stages as an illustrator is to just create and be unreasonable in the level and the activity you put into building a massive portfolio, just a massive body of work. That's what I did, and it taught me so much about what worked, what doesn't work, and it also put enough of my pieces out into the ether such that, you know, a lot of people saw my material. So I had lots and lots of illustrations floating around the web and on this stock site, so that clients began finding me through just Google searches and that kind of thing. So make use of all the portfolio websites and social media, Behance and that kind of stuff, to really spread your work. Just blanket the world with your work and go a little crazy, be a little unreasonable, and make a ton of stuff. Get as much instant feedback as you can, because you'll be able to iterate on each piece. But more than anything else as well, use that phase, especially early on, when you're making tons of work, to develop a strong style, something that you more and more over time effortlessly create, and it's something that is fresh, is in line with what is trendy and cool, but is also uniquely yours as well. So combining all those elements is going to create a kick-ass style that people will really like. And bear in mind, as we close off here, that your illustration style will not necessarily stay the same forever, and nor should it, because I think you'll get boxed in like that, and I think it gets a bit tiresome to continually churn out the same type of illustration. So allow your style to breathe over the years, allow your style to evolve. One of the reasons I sort of stopped working as an illustrator was because my style was hitting a ceiling, and I was kind of getting bored with the same projects over and over again. And I was looking into, and I just enjoy doing coaching now, so that's just a new phase in my life. But I still love making art, and I encourage you guys to take up illustration and really keep working at it, and keep being positive, and keep being productive. And if you face setbacks and you feel self-doubt about whether your work is any good, just commit to being a creative powerhouse and enjoy the sensation of being a bit of a maniac when it comes to creating a lot. And just keep talking to people. Talk to as many people as you can, and get a sense of what stuff honestly works, what kinds of clients would like your work, and keep in touch with people merely to strengthen and, you know, expand your network. That is really powerful for an illustrator, is having a solid network of people that you know, and who have you front of mind continually. So it's about consistency. And don't forget, when you've finished a job with someone, don't let them slide away into the abyss. Keep in touch with people. Keep emailing people, even, you know, months and months after you finish work with them, just to see how they're doing and how the work was received and all that kind of stuff. So keep in touch, keep those networks being built out, produce a lot, try and get as much feedback as you can, talk to everyone, and be a nutcase about marketing. Just keep doing it, and keep doing it consistently, especially when you feel satisfied. Those are the dangerous moments when you need to keep in touch. That'll put you ahead of the rest. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Do subscribe for more ideas on things like marketing. I'm going to be talking a lot about coaching as well, so if you want to supplement your income as an illustrator, maybe you want to teach other people, follow me for that. Any questions, as I said, write them down below. I love to hear you guys talk back at me, and do like this video if you liked it. I will see you in the next one.